I now call on the representative of Ethiopia.
Mr. President, I take the floor in the exercise of right of reply against a statement delivered by a representative of Egypt against my country, Ethiopia. The extensive statement by Egypt's representative can be summarized in short as categorically rejection of our efforts to ensure dignified life to our people. While we share no border, Ethiopia is linked with Egypt through the Nile. We believe Nile is a solemn nexus between our countries that ought to create shared peace and prosperity to the people of our sisterly countries. It's never Ethiopia's intention or conduct to create tension and hostility towards Egypt. The Speaker, as stated from his statement, had made it clear to this Assembly Egypt's position against the universally accepted principle of permanent sovereignty of states over their natural resource and their right to use it for the benefit of their people. The people of Ethiopia, using their own finances, built the Grand Ethiopian Dam. The dam is built over the river Abai, which, as correctly explained by the representative of Egypt, is a tributary to the river Nile. It is bringing light to millions of Ethiopians deprived of such basic necessity. It is bringing integration to our region through energy, trade, and connectivity. The river Abai traverses 2/3 of Ethiopia's territory and makes up 70% of Ethiopia's water resource. While having the resource, the people of Ethiopia continue to live in food and energy insecurity. More than half of our 120 million population needs access to clean water and electricity. Ethiopia will not be told to hold its effort to alleviate this unacceptable circumstance. We will not be told our people do not deserve a dignified life. Ethiopia recognizes the River Nile is a transboundary water resource that must be used by all riparian countries based on the principle of equitable and reasonable utilization. Transboundary resources are also best managed based on basin-wide arrangements agreed to by riparian countries. When it comes to these principles of international law, we see paradox in the Nile Basin. Ethiopia, an upper riparian country that contributes 85% of the flow to the Nile, and the other 8 source countries seeks cooperation based on international law. Egypt, the lower riparian country that contributes no flow to the resource, relentlessly works against cooperation and undermines international principles. It advocates for monopoly based on colonial era arrangements, seeks a veto over the water development efforts of the countries that originate the water. Ethiopia will continue pursuing its development on the river Abai on the basis of equitable and reasonable utilization of the resource. It is our hope, through time, Egypt will reorient its colonial-based policy on the Nile and work on integrated development on the basis of equity. Time will also come for Egypt to realize its best interest is intertwined with and best served by cooperation with riparian countries of the basin. More importantly, the old playbook that seeks to secure unfettered flow of the Nile by preoccupying the source countries with conflict and insurgencies will not work. On this basis, Ethiopia calls on Egypt to immediately stop its destabilization efforts in the Horn of Africa. Time to negotiate and find a win-win solution is now. We urge Egypt to choose the path of negotiation and the path of international law. The Cooperative Framework Agreement on the Nile River is entering into force on 13th October 2024. Egypt has the golden opportunity to return to peaceful conduct of its relations with the Nile River riparian states. Egypt is thus encouraged to ratify the CFA and play a constructive role in regional development. I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.